Guys, maybe you've heard this, or maybe you've said it yourself. Maybe you heard mom and dad say it or something like that. Can't wait for things to go back to normal. This has been a very unnormal year, abnormal. There's been some strange things about it. It's been taking some getting used to. You guys have been amazing. You have been so loving to each other. You've been so cooperative with all of your teachers. You've been so helpful for each other. And we just want to tell you how proud we are of you and how much you are like Jesus when you're like that, when you're helpful and cooperative and loving to each other and welcoming. That's exactly what Jesus wants. And that's what he's asking us to do. And so you guys are showing us grown-ups how to do it. And we're so proud of you. And I want things to go back to normal too, like you do. I want to be able to see my friends again. I know you guys want to be able to do that. I know you want to be able to visit grandma and grandpa, or you want to be able to get back to playing sports, or even just things to be back to normal again at school with your classes and whatnot. Totally get it. And guess what? It's coming. Okay, so just keep doing what you're doing. Keep loving each other. Keep welcoming each other. Keep being helpful. Keep asking people how you can help and how they're doing. Okay, that's what Jesus is asking us to do. And so when we celebrate his birthday at Christmas time, this was a very unnormal thing to happen in the world. Okay, he came in an ordinary way. He was born to a carpenter and a teenage mom in a stable with animals, in a barn, in a small town. All those things were very ordinary. But he came as a baby king of heaven, very unnormal. And he came to give a very unnormal message to the whole world too, that everybody is loved by God and everybody belongs to God's kingdom. And we need to serve those who have less. We need to feed those who don't have any food. We need to clothe those who are naked. We need to comfort those who are crying or sad inside, right? And so these were all things that were really not normal in everyday life, especially in Jesus' time. And he's told us, this is how I want you to live. This is how things work in God's house. Love each other, care for each other, be radically different from society around you, okay? That's what I think we can ask you guys to do. And so many times you're doing it and you're teaching us how to do it. So keep being unnormal. Keep being loving. Keep being comforting. And keep being the beautiful people that you are. And Merry Christmas, and I look forward to seeing you guys all in the new year. God bless you. Hey, maybe you've said this in the last few months. Man, I cannot wait for things to get back to normal. Or how about this one? I was thinking about this one just the other day as I was flipping through pictures on my phone. I'm like, man, remember 2019 when everything was normal? Yeah. Let me tell you something. Nothing about this is normal. What I want you to do is turn to the Google Meet window on your left or your right, give them an Air 5, or if you're in a classroom across the aisle, just give them an Air 5 and say to each other, nothing about this is normal. My friends, I think normal is an illusion. I think normal is actually something that we cling to when we're maybe a little bit scared or unsure. We got to look at creation. Take a look at creation and you tell me that this is normal. How about the Venus flytrap? Or the massive caribou migrations in the north? The dance of the bird of paradise? Or the hooded seal, my favorite. Are you kidding me? This is not normal. In fact, if we're wandering around in this world and our eyes are closed, we might think it's all normal, but when we take a close look at the creation that we've been dropped into, that we are a part of, just look at your crazy uncle or your brothers and sisters. They're not normal. How about relationships? How about the human race and the hardship and the pain that we see around the world? I'm here to tell you that this is not normal. It's not. The division, the disunity, the racial tension, the divide between brothers and sisters just because of skin color? How about the pain and tragedy of a global pandemic? These are not normal. What about a world of natural disasters? The wildfires in California and in Australia that we've seen in the last year. My friends, this is not normal. Nothing about this is normal. Pain is not normal. And the beauty of creation, when we open our eyes to it, is so far from normal. It's approaching a fairy tale. It's approaching a fantasy novel. Jesus arrived on the scene and there was nothing about it normal. His birth might have had some ordinary circumstances around it. A carpenter and a 16-year-old teenage mom traveling through the countryside to a little backwater town called Bethlehem for nothing more than an average census, a counting of the population, and a night in a stable, a feed box with animals. Ordinary things, but the circumstances were anything but normal. And the life that Jesus led, there is nothing about it that was normal. In fact, he came to disrupt everything that was normal. The day-to-day lives of the people who ruled the region, the day-to-day religious leaders, were disrupted by Jesus's unnormal approach, his radical approach to loving people, his radical approach to who God is as a good and loving Father, his including everybody. There were no boundaries to who was in and who was out. If you wanted in, you were in. His way of bringing people closer to God, almost by surprise, and his way of talking to those people who thought they were the closest to God and catching them by surprise. Nothing about this is normal. And when we take a look at Jesus and the way that he did things, we should be able to look at that and say, I want to live like he did. Radically unnormal. I want to live radically unnormal in the direction of love for everybody. I want to live radically unnormal in the direction of service and care for the people around me. I want to live radically unnormal in joy, in laughter, in community. These are the things that Jesus showed us how it is to be normal in his world, what he called his kingdom, the kingdom of God. In the kingdom of God, normal is unity. Normal is service and sacrifice. Normal is radical love for everybody around us. That, my friends, is what normal is supposed to be. We're not living in a normal world when we talk about God's kingdom. It wasn't meant to be this way. But we have a choice. We have a choice to look at it all and say, I see now what normal is supposed to be. I see now that I'm supposed to love those who look and act and think differently than I do. I'm supposed to reach out in compassion to those who have less. I'm supposed to reach out to counsel those who are hurting inside, those who are mourning. I'm supposed to reach out to comfort them. I'm supposed to visit the ones who are locked away, who have no one to love them unnormally. I don't want to go back to normal. I've seen normal. And when I'm normal, I'm numb to the beauty of creation. When I'm normal, I'm ignorant of the pain of the people around me. When I am living in the kingdom of God, which is what Jesus described as his normal, he said, this is my Father's kingdom. This is the way that it works where I come from. And it's radically unnormal compared to our lives. And that's what I want. I want to be radically unnormal in compassion for the people who are hurting around me. I want to have radically unnormal joy where I can't be beaten down by the circumstances around me because I know that I have a good Father in heaven who loves me. I want to be radically unnormal when it comes to building bridges between divisions. I want to be radically unnormal when it comes to healing people who are hurting. And that's what it means to say yes to Jesus on Christmas morning. His appearance on this earth was to shake up the normal, for us to look at him and his life and say, I don't want to be normal. I want to have what you have. I want to live the way that you lived. And so for this Christmas, I'm hoping you would join me in saying, I don't want things to go back to normal. I don't want to be normal because nothing about this is normal. I want to live unnormal in the direction of compassion and unity and life and joy. Would you join me on that? I'm hoping you'd say yes. From my house to yours, God bless you. Have a very Merry Christmas. And I pray that even amidst the difficulty and the unnormal circumstances of this Christmas, that God's blessings would abound in your life and that you would know him in a new way. I love you all. We'll see you in the new year.